In a world filled with speculation, rumors, and social media buzz, there are times when love speaks loudest in silence. For many people, Instagram posts are just snapshots of everyday life, food, scenery, or fashion. But for those who truly follow Kim Taehyung's inner journey, every detail is not just aesthetics. It is language, a secret language that can only be understood by hearts sensitive enough to perceive it. In recent weeks, Taehyung has been very active on social media. His posts always appear casual, full of energy and captivating. But for those who are observant, there is a hidden narrative behind the camera lens. One of the most attention-grabbing moments occurred when Taehyung was seen enjoying a dinner at a luxurious restaurant in Paris. It wasn't the restaurant's ambience that caused a stir, but something small, almost imperceptible, on his plate. A symbol shaped like a flame. It may seem ordinary, but fire has long been recognized as a symbol of passion, desire, and burning love. And for those following the silent love story between Taehyung and Jungkook, fire is the emblem of an everlasting longing. But that's not all. In his latest posts, the color red dominates. From a red jacket, a red photo background, to small details like a red line on the shirt he's wearing. For some, it might just be a color choice. But for Taehyung'ers, red is a feeling. Red is a flame. Red is love that remains alive despite thousands of kilometers separating them. However, what really got fans excited was the t-shirt Taehyung wore during that dinner. In the center, there was a clear image of a rabbit. Cute? Yes. But its meaning is much deeper. Rabbits have long been associated with Jungkook, a figure who, from the start of his career, was often nicknamed the Golden Bunny by fans. This is no coincidence. It's a silent message, as if Taehyung is saying, "You're always with me, even when you're not here." Taehyung is known as someone who doesn't talk much about his personal life. But that doesn't mean he never expresses his feelings. He just chooses a different way. He speaks through symbols, through colors, through time. Every post feels like a hidden love letter sent to someone very special, and all the fans know that name is John Jungkook. Now, Taehyung is still in Paris, the city known as the symbol of love. He attends art exhibitions, photo sessions, and world-class fashion events. But behind all the glamour, there seems to be an unbroken thread, his feelings tied to one point. That point isn't the Eiffel Tower, but Los Angeles, the place where Jungkook is currently staying. And fans continue to hope, wait, and speculate. When will Taehyung fly there? The love signals don't stop there. In another moment in Paris, Taehyung was caught on camera carrying a bear-shaped bag. It looked adorable, indeed. But perceptive fans knew that bag had a counterpart, a rabbit-shaped bag. For a long time, the symbols of the bear and the rabbit have been used to describe Taehyung and Jungkook's personalities. Two shapes that complement each other. Two symbols that tell one story, love that protects each other, even in silence. And as if the universe were writing this scenario, shortly after the moment went viral, the official account of Jellyat, an international brand that produces rabbit and bear plush toys, reposted Taehyung's skydiving video in Hawaii. Yes, that legendary video. But not from a regular fan base, but from the brand's account, which shares the same symbols, rabbit and bear. Is this a coincidence? Or a signal too strong to ignore? Such facts appear too frequently to be mere coincidence. When Taehyung wears a symbol pointing to Jungkook, and then other content or posts reinforce that symbol, fans know this isn't an illusion. It's communication. Communication that can only be understood by those who believe love doesn't always need to be announced. Of course, as usual, there will always be those who scoff. They dismiss it as fan fantasy or collective delusion. But the purest love is often silent. It doesn't strive to prove itself. It simply exists, in small gestures, gentle glances, or unintended yet meaningful touches. If we look back at their interactions over the years, it's not hard to see the difference. The way Taehyung looks at Jungkook during practice. The way Jungkook lightly touches Taehyung's shoulder before going on stage. The way they comfort each other when anxious before a concert. It's not part of the act. It's not for the cameras. It's pure, natural, and sincere. And only the two of them know its true depth. Behind the scenes, when the camera lights begin to dim, that's when the most honest moments happen. When Jungkook whispers something and Taehyung smiles softly. When their hands touch without awkwardness. When they sit side by side without words, yet filled with comfort. A silence louder than thousands of fan screams. Their story didn't begin with a grand confession, but with small, honest moments. From matching accessories, songs that were too personal, lyrics that seemed to echo each other, to paintings and symbols only the two of them understood. Now, the story feels more real than ever. They no longer hide, not to create a sensation, but because true love cannot be hidden forever. It must be seen, celebrated, and understood by those sensitive enough to catch it. And as the Parisian sky grows cloudy, as if holding something unspeakable, Taehyung reappears in a portrait that silences the world. This time, not in a luxurious restaurant or on a prestigious runway, but in a small alley adorned with mural paintings and the dim light of twilight. He stands with his back to the camera, wearing a dark brown hoodie. On his back is a small image, a bear hugging a rabbit, almost invisible to the naked eye, but once again, for those who know, it is a symbol that speaks so loudly in silence. At the same time, Jungkook in Los Angeles posted a short video on his official account. He was sitting in a studio, wearing a simple maroon-colored t-shirt. On his desk lay a small doll, a bear, exactly like the one seen in one of Taehyung's videos a few months ago. This connection wasn't announced. No mention, no explicit sign. But for those who had been watching from the beginning, it was like two messages echoing each other. Like a code that doesn't need a translator, only a sensitive heart to understand. And when fans began linking the two posts, another small detail emerged that touched the heart. The song playing in the background of Jungkook's video wasn't a new song. It was an old one, a song Jungkook and Taehyung had once sung together on a V-Live in 2020. The song wasn't a hit. It wasn't popular. But it had lyrics about love that can't be seen, but is always there. A coincidence too beautiful to be ignored. Is all of this just a coincidence orchestrated by the universe? Or is it part of a love story slowly beginning to unfold? One thing is certain. The longer it goes on, the clearer their message becomes. Not through words, not through confessions, but through the visual language they've been building slowly. Through color, shape, time, and even silence. Because in their story, love isn't something that needs to be announced. Love simply exists, in the way they represent each other, in the small things they carry, and in the energy that never fades, even when separated by time and space. Now, fans no longer demand confirmation. They simply wait, waiting to see if one day, on any stage, in any place, these two figures will stand side by side again. Not out of group obligation, but out of heartfelt choice. And if that day comes, everything that has been silent will speak. All symbols will become clear. All silence will turn into celebration. Until that day arrives, this story remains alive. Among Instagram posts, among video clips, among the color red and the shape of a rabbit, between Paris and Los Angeles. And between two names that can never be separated by anything, Taehyung and Jungkook. Because in the end, love doesn't always need words. It simply exists. And for them, that love has been there all along.